Hey guys, welcome back to Ebike Random Adventures. Today we're going to be taking a look at this ECLIO F02 Moped style electric bike. They do say this bike has a 1000 watt peak geared hub drive motor in the rear that is powered by a 48 volt 624 watt hour battery up here in the front. This battery is removable with the key. You can charge it on the bike or you can charge it off the bike. On this F02 you do get 7 mechanical gears, a half twist throttle. It does have a nice color TFT display. It does have a very simple to use control panel. This one does come with turn signals, brake lights, headlight, and tail lights. And on this bike, you do get mechanical disc brakes with 160mm rotors up front and in the back. You do get the cool looking color pattern on this bike with the brown and black. In addition to that, it does have the brown sidewalls on the Chaoyang tires. These are 20 by 4 inch fat tires. Let's talk about the size and fitment of this bike. They do say this bike can fit riders from 5'5" and up with weights up to 330 pounds. The minimum seat height here is 32.6 inches. So 32.6 inches for the seat height is actually a little bit taller for this style of bike. This is a full suspension e-bike. You do get the dual crown fork suspension in the front. There are no adjustments on these stanchions, and you do get the monoshock up under the seat. This bike actually gives you a pretty soft suspension in the rear. All right, guys, I am 6 foot tall, 215 pounds. Let me hop on the bike and show you how I fit. I do have 32 inch inseams. Pretty easy to step over. If I'm standing flat footed, I am right on the seat. So this is a pretty tall seat. Does have a nice long bench seat though, and it is very comfortable. You can sit up front here. If you want a little bit more spring in your suspension, you can sit a little bit farther back. Put a little bit more leverage on that monoshock, and it is pretty soft, guys. Let me get you in here, take a little bit closer look at the bike, then we'll take it for a ride. There's your 20 by 4 Chaoyang branded fat tires. This one does have the hippo skin. They do have a knobby tread pattern. Get plastic fenders on this bike. Does have the round headlight. This one is actually pretty bright, guys. There's a look at your dual crown fork suspension. No adjustments on the top. Does say ECLIO down the side here. This bike does have the standard front fork dropouts, but it does come with double lug nuts for protection. Here's a closer look at the frame design. This is your 48 volt, 13 amp hour battery, 624 watt hours. Does have the switch to power it on and off here. Does take the 5mm style charger. Does come with a 2 amp charger, guys. Here's what your crankset looks like. It does have a smaller chainring in the front with a double-sided chain guard, some longer crank arms with some metal pedals. Back in the rear, you do get a Shimano derailleur and 7 mechanical gears. This motor does have a little marking on it that looks like a guy on a bike. And there's the numbers on the motor. They do say this motor peaks out at 1000 watts. Here's a closer look at the spring and shock absorber setup in the rear. And this brown bench seat is nice and wide, pretty long as well. You could probably fit 2 different riders on here if you wanted to. Kind of has a little ramp up at the end. There's your tail light, brake light, and turn signals. This is your mechanical disc brakes. They do have 160mm rotors in the front and the rear. Front brake is over on the left side. That's the rear brake setup and the kickstand. Over on the left side, the battery does have a key if you want to remove the battery from the bike. And the battery does have the power level indicator that you can press and hold. Up on the handlebars, you do get some rubberized ergonomic hand grips, your mechanical brake levers. They do have cable adjustments. You do get a simple control panel. You can go up and down on your pedal assist levels. You do have turn signal switch here, the bike horn. Over on the right side, you do get a half twist throttle, your 7 mechanical gear shifter, and your rear brake lever. This one does come with a nice color TFT display, and it does have 3 levels of pedal assist out of the box. There's a large mile per hour reading. There's your voltage reading. You do get your trip down here at the bottom, and this is your battery life in color. This bike is limited to 20 miles per hour out of the box, but a little bit later on the ride, I will show you how to unlock this up to 28 miles per hour. Stick around for that. I do like this handlebar style, guys. They do have this BMX style handlebars. They do have about 4 inches of rise here, and there is a couple flat spots here in case you want to put some speakers or something like that. All right, we're out here on the ECLIO F02. Let's turn the power off and see if we can just pedal this thing. Get it in first gear here. Not too bad. It's got a pretty low gear range, so you can definitely get this thing going without power. All right, let's go through these pedal assist levels now. This is with the bike locked. In a minute, I'll show you how to unlock the bike, and it's gonna change all of the pedal assist levels as well. This is pedal assist level 1 with the bike locked. Caps you out around 10 miles an hour, but you're already up in 4th gear. This bike has pretty low gearing on it. Let's try level 2. About 5th gear there, you can keep up pedaling. 15 miles an hour, pedal assist level 2. Let's try top speed with the bike locked. It's gonna be 20 miles an hour. Gear 7, showing us 21 there. This is about as fast as you're going to want to pedal this bike. So when you do unlock this bike up to the max speed of 28, you're not gonna be able to keep up pedaling. 20 miles an hour is about the limit on the pedaling. All right, guys, let me show you how to unlock the bike now. This bike has a claimed top speed of 28 miles per hour. Out of the box, it only goes 20 miles per hour. First, you're gonna power it down. Real simple procedure here. Hold and twist the throttle, pull that brake lever in, hold it, power the bike up. This bike does have the NFC unlock, so you are gonna have to grab your NFC card, unlock the bike. You get that error code 5, release everything. Simple as that. Now the bike is going to be unlocked up to top speed. It is going to change those pedal assist levels. Let's try this hill climb right here. This bike does have 1,000 watts of peak power, they say. Then when we get up to the top of the hill, I will show you the difference in the pedal assist levels, and we will do a top speed run using the GPS. All right, let's go up the hill. I'm going to do throttle only on this one. I can definitely feel that it's a little bit peppier after I unlocked it. All right, drop down to about 14 going up the hill there. Right in line with other 750 watt bikes that peak out at 1,000 watts. Pretty close to average there. That wasn't too bad of a speed up the hill there. I had a bike just the other day that only made it up the hill at 9 miles an hour. That bike had a claimed 1,000 watts peak power as well. This one claims 1,000 watts peak power. This one made it up the hill 14 miles an hour. So that's a much better result. Let's go ahead and get this Speed GPS app started. Just gonna put that in my pocket. We will use that when we check the top speed. First, I wanna show you the difference on these pedal assist levels after you unlock the bike. Remember, pedal assist level 1 was only giving us 10 miles an hour. So after the bike is unlocked, it's gonna let you run level 1 all the way up to 15 miles an hour. Let's check level 2. Level 2 is giving me about 21, 22 miles an hour when it was only giving me 15 when the bike was locked. All right, guys, level 3, let's see what we can get for top speed here. After about 25, you can't really keep up pedaling. Let me give it a little tuck. All right, guys, it did get up to 28 on the onboard. Let's see what the GPS shows. GPS is actually showing that we hit a top speed of 29 miles per hour. So their claim of 28 miles per hour is legit. The bike can actually do that, GPS verified. A lot of these bikes claim 28 and they get up to about 26. This one claims 28, just got us up to 29. So pretty cool. I was giving it a full tuck there though. In the upright position, it might only give you about 27. Those lower gears are really good for hill climbs and stuff like that though. So if you live in a more hilly area and you think you're gonna have to put in a little bit of pedaling in to assist the bike, then having those low gears is gonna be a good thing. Don't forget, this bike does have the TFT LCD display with all the color, very crisp, very clear. I do have my sunglasses on, I can see the display easily. I have already ridden this bike 6 miles so far, shooting my drone video and doing the testing and stuff like that. The trip's only showing 1 mile because I did shut the bike off to unlock it. So we got to go off the odometer for this ride. Let me hold this thing steady, see if there's any cruise control. I don't feel any cruise control kicking in on this one. Let me get up to about 20 miles an hour here and we'll do our brake test. Nice, it stopped us pretty quick. We left a little trail of rubber there. This bike does have mechanical disc brakes with 160 millimeter rotors, but they shut us down pretty well. I was surprised they were able to lock up the tires. A lot of these mechanical disc brakes can stop you and not quite lock up the tires. Overall, they feel like mechanical disc brakes. Nothing to write home about. You're not going to get that hydraulic brake feel out of them, but they can stop the bike pretty fast. They seem to pull just a little bit harder than other mechanical disc brakes that I've felt. And these brake levers look a little bit different to me as well. Must be a different brand. They don't have a brand on them, but you could tell that they're a little bit different than what I've seen. They stop pretty good. All right, guys, don't forget the ECLIO F02 is a full suspension e-bike. It does have a monoshock up here underneath the seat. The shock does vibrate a little bit in its mount. If you pick the bike up, you can hear it. So this is going to be a little bit rattly off-road. I did try to tighten this up as much as I could, and it still has a little bit of play in it. That being said, this thing rides really nice on the road. This shock has a nice feel to it in the back, nice and spongy. This thing is real nice on the road, and you're not going to get any noise out of this thing on the road because you're always going to have your weight down on the shock. Really soft bike, comfortable ride. On the front as well. I'm just slightly worried on the off-road that we might get a little noise out of that rear shock. Wow, this thing is pulling pretty nicely off-road here. I'm actually not hearing any noise out of that rear shock, and that's because I do have the weight down on the seat. Nice. This thing is soft, guys. All right, take back what I said. This thing is not making any noise. Let's take it out here on the trail, see what it's made of. Wow, this thing rides nice. To my surprise, that rear shock is nice and quiet, not making any noise. Do get a little bit of a rebound knock on the front suspension when it pops all the way up. Definitely not bad though, definitely not bad. Here comes some big bumps here. Wow, handled them like a champ. All right, guys, this is gonna be a decent off-roader. The suspension is soft. There you go, you can hear that front fork. That front fork does have rebound knock. Let's see if we can make it all the way out here to the end. Pulling us pretty good. All right. Got us all the way out here. Let me get this thing down in low gear here. Let's go down here and cross the creek. Got into the water a little bit. Now let's see if this thing can pull us up the hill throttle only. It is pulling us up. We're not like absolutely ripping or anything like that. This is a bit of a torture test on these bikes because this is uphill, tall grass, and it is a little damp and wet over here usually. All right. Bike made it all the way up. Well, guys, I was pleasantly surprised at the off-road performance of this F02. I do find the ride to be nice and smooth, and the suspension was actually pretty relaxed and pretty cushy on the suspension, as well as that seat, that long, cushy seat they got on there. I did get it muddy. I went through the mud 2 times, as you can see there. Gonna have to wash it up. But yeah, the bike can do some off-road trail riding, guys. That rear suspension didn't make any noise, even though I suspected that it would with that type of mount, but it never did because my weight was always on the bike. The only noise I got out of the suspension was a little bit of rebound knock on the front fork. It takes up the bumps really well on the down force, but when you pop up real fast, it does give you a little bit of a bam, you know, a little bit of a click. Power-wise, it's kind of a mid-level power. It did get us all the way up the big hill over there, no problem. I did put it through the torture test, and the bike did accomplish it. It didn't absolutely rip up the hills or anything like that, but it got the job done. Now, riding like that, going up those hills and pinning that throttle for so long, that's going to be hard on the battery, and that's going to reduce your range of the bike for sure. So if you're doing a whole bunch of off-roading and riding around on the top pedal assist level, top speed and stuff like that, you're not going to get 50 miles of range. Whoa, I do like this suspension. Nice and floaty. You'll probably end up getting somewhere more around 20 to 25 miles of range if you ride the way that I do. If you want to get that long range, you got to get out there, put this thing on level 1, pedal along with it, help it out a lot, and then you can get that really extended range on a bike like this. This is a fun little bike though. The bike does have kind of long pedals, so if they are all the way down at the very bottom and you are leaning over towards a curb or something like that, you can hit the pedal on the curb with these longer pedals. I don't think it's a big issue on this bike. I've had bikes that are really low and that's an issue, but just kind of a thing to watch out for. I've had a couple of those bikes with the huge 40 amp hour battery. That thing is only like 6 inches off the ground and you can easily curb those things. That's not going to be a problem on this bike, guys. Just wanted to point it out. All right, let's run down this gravel road. Actually, not too bad. Just a little bit of vibration, but no crazy resonance going on or anything like that. That's some pretty loose gravel back there. You do need to hang on to the handlebars out here because this stuff is pretty loose. Let's take a look at the little horsies. Got a whole bunch of them out here now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's a pretty one right here. It's got a really nice coat of fur. Pretty horse. Is that what they call the fur on a horse? Coat of fur? I have no idea. All right, guys, we made it back to town here. Gonna hop up here on the sidewalk. This broken sidewalk, let's give this a try. I can already tell you it's not gonna be a problem for this bike. This thing rides nice. Now that I've put about 11 miles on this bike, let's see if it can make it up the steepest hill in town here. Pulling us up. I'm not pedaling. And we made it up. So even after ripping this thing around town here and off-roading and all that stuff we did, 11 miles worth, still had enough power to bring us up the steepest hill in town here. This is where the cell phone tower is at. We are still sitting at 47.2 volts on that display there, so that's about 50% battery on this bike. Check out how steep this hill is, just rolling down. Easily get you up to 20 miles an hour rolling down that hill. I am gonna run it by the radar gun on the way back and see what kind of top speed we can still get out of it after putting all these miles on it. All right, guys, even after putting the bike through all that abuse during testing today, still hitting 27 miles an hour on the radar gun, so still hitting that top speed. So as far as the pedaling goes and the pedal assist coming on, guys, this bike is a cadence sensor. Let's see how long it takes for that power to come on. Let me rotate my legs here. Just a little slight delay, not too long. Then that power comes on. And it don't matter how hard you press the pedals, it's gonna give you the full power since it is a cadence sensor. All right, guys, roll back into my area. Let me show you the headlight on this one. It's getting dark out here. This thing's got a pretty bright, impressive headlight on it. This is what your tail light looks like in the dark. There's your little brake light, and it does have turn signals. All right, let me show you what we did for range on this ride. It reverts back to trip. I did shut the bike off a couple times, so we got to go to odometer. We did 16 miles on this ride. Battery voltage is sitting at 46.6 volts. Let me turn off that headlight. Battery jumps up to 46.8 volts. Showing 46.8 volts is right at 50% battery. So after 16 miles of riding, the bike is still sitting at 50% battery, guys. So it looks like you'll easily be able to get 25, 30 miles of range out of this bike. And if you ride it slow, you're gonna get more than that. I did ride it really hard today, pretty much on pedal assist level 3 the whole time. Did a lot of off-roading, a lot of hill climbing, stuff like that. And I just had that throttle pinned the whole time, guys. So it did pretty well. 16 miles on the odometer, 50% battery, not bad at all. Overall, guys, I did find the ride on the bike to be comfortable with that big long seat, and that rear suspension was actually quite soft. The front suspension, on the other hand, is just kind of okay. It does knock a little bit, give you a little bit of rebound knock when you hit the big bumps, but it does just fine at softening the bumps, especially with the 20x4-inch fat tires. This bike does have the color pattern going on. I kind of like that myself. Looks pretty cool, and it does have this really nice colored TFT display. This thing really shows up nice. The power on the bike is kind of mid-level, guys. It can climb up the hills. It even got us up the highest hill in town. It does a little bit better on the top end. The bike goes pretty fast. It did hit 29 miles per hour. It doesn't have like an extreme grunt all the way down on the low end, but the bike does rev out to those higher speeds, and it does cruise nicely at those higher speeds. The bike does feel very comfortable riding between 20, 25 miles an hour. Seems to be no problem for it at all. Don't forget, guys, I am about 215 pounds today, so if you are a little bit lighter, you're gonna get even better performance out of this bike than I got. Those unbranded mechanical disc brakes, while they are not like a top brand hydraulic brake or anything like that, they did stop the bike well. The bike is not very heavy and the brakes did not make any noise, so I'm cool with that. Another feature I like about this bike is it does come with those 2 NFC cards to unlock the bike. That is a pretty cool security feature for your bike. All right, guys, if the ECLIO F02 is the electric bike for you, I will put the link for this bike in the description below the video. Please hit like and subscribe to the channel for more e-bike and scooter content like this. I really do appreciate you guys watching. I'll catch you in the next one.